Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the From Cameras to Couches podcast. I am Zach Davis. You probably know that by now, but you probably don't know it just yet. But Miss Emmy's back.
I have made my triumphant return.
She made her long haul back from Ohio. She's
Ohio?
back. She's back down out of the Buckeye. So we're going to talk about some movies tonight. And we put out our poll earlier this week. We had two options, The Breakfast Club and Indiana Jones.
I'm going with the 80s.
Indiana Jones is the winner, bro. I'm so excited about Indiana Jones.
My option was Breakfast Club, and I'm not even going to lie, I voted for Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark because I kind of really wanted to talk about it.
We're in a good spot with this. So this is probably going to be a quick episode because we didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare.
This was also kind of inspired by the new Indiana Jones game that came out recently.
I had a note to make sure to mention that. So for those of you that don't know, there's a new video game, Indiana Jones video game. It's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it is a spiritual sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first of the trilogy, the original trilogy. This game is fantastic. We've been playing through it.
We haven't finished it, so I mean, like, we can't speak to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But where we're at so far, like, I am beyond thrilled with it. It completely honors, like, the Indiana Jones themes and just vibes. Like, it's so good.
It's one of the best Lego sequels that, unfortunately, is something that you can. I guess. I mean, I know video games are pretty scathing for a lot of people out there, but I think this one so far has proven to be like a worthy delve into it. And the performances are generally awesome. Harrison Ford actually got up on the stage at the Game Awards a couple weekends ago and was talking about the guy that plays Indiana Jones in this game. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the video game. I just wanted to note
talk
it
about
and
the OG.
promote that it should definitely be on your list.
Take us back to 1981.
Let's go back. Can I please go back to the beginning of the 80s? We are just trying to sort our way through some troubled American times post Vietnam. Everybody's deciding whether or not they're going to make war movies or action movies over the next 10 years. This is one of them that's a little bit of both, but not about the most recent American wound of a war. It's about American infiltration into Germany as Nazi regime is taken over, and how perfectly evil and awesome Nazis are as villains.
What a great call.
They're the best. They're simply the best.
How can you not love a good Nazi villain story?
Yeah, and they're truly people to be detested, and it's super fun to watch them be actively punched in the face. Anyway, we're going to talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is the first of the original three movies that were a team up between George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
In my eyes,
the
the
80s.
only three movies.
There are no other movies.
I don't acknowledge
What do you
4 and
mean
5?
in your eyes? There's a 4 and 5?
No,
Oh,
there's
God.
not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is Raiders of the Lost Ark. This was a like major influence on me as a child. This is one of the movies that I grew up watching all the time.
You have the Indiana Jones scar.
Now, I have a note to talk about the Indiana Jones scar. I have a scar on my chin that's very similar to the scar that Indy gets in The Last Crusade. So
He freaked out about it as a kid. It was
been known as my Indiana Jones scar.
big pride point for him.
Yeah, there are many stories that have come up to what exactly that scar came from, but I believe it's not as exciting as any of the stories I told. I think I smashed my face on a glass table. How fun. Anyway, let's get back to Indiana Jones. So this is Harrison Ford's favorite role of his. He's absolutely just steaming in this movie. He's at his best in this movie, I would argue.
Isn't he's like correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't whenever he's asked about playing Indiana Jones again, he's like 100% on
super
board.
enthusiastic.
But like when he was asked about Han Solo, he's like,
he
no,
hates it. Yeah.
no.
No,
I love
that's it's kind of sad that it just got spun so many years. And I mean, ultimately, the downfall of Indiana Jones was George Lucas because he wanted to start experimenting with aliens, and he was like, the fourth movie has to have aliens. We have to do aliens. We have to do aliens. For like 20 years, he said that they had to do aliens until Spielberg finally was like, fine, we'll do aliens.
Well, they didn't say aliens.
It was interdimensional beings.
Thank you. I knew there was like a specific.
There's a
specific language he used.
Yeah, there's a real good series on YouTube. Called What a Shit Show, and they have a great episode on Indiana Jones. It's pretty fantastic. Anyway, so let's synopsize Raiders of the Lost Ark real quick, just so you guys have the scope of it. But basically, in it starts in 1936. Indiana Jones is raiding this Peruvian temple in the jungle, and he finds this idol. He leaves with the idol. He goes through a series of booby traps. Amazing, beautiful opening sequence. It's so much fun. It immediately sets the tone as just like a caperous adventure. We get out of the temple after it's completely collapsed and all the booby traps have gone off, and Indy has successfully acquired the idol, but a rival archaeologist, a French archaeologist by the name of Belloc, decides that he's going to take the idol from him. Belloc has earned the respect of the locals, I guess, and
he probably paid him off, if I had to guess.
They're natives. I don't know. When I was thinking about it earlier, I was thinking because they start worshiping the idol right after he gets it from him.
I can't lie, it's been a little bit.
I think there was some like conniving. Do you want me to save your god from the evil hands of this American man that's trying to take this idol out of here and put it in a museum because it belongs in a museum? Anyway, so Dr. Jones goes back home empty-handed.
Before, I have to make a quick note about a character in this before he goes back home that is not like...
Start the plane!
Yeah, it's not a big character at all. But
start the plane!
But for multiple reasons, it's a very beloved character to me. I don't know why I just like linked onto him, but we had a Lego set that had a little jock figurine, and this is like the guy that's driving the plane. And we had, I used to play him in the Lego Indiana Jones video game. I don't know why I love Jock, but
the guy, Jock.
I love Jock. And what does he say? There's the whole snake interaction.
That's just my pet snake.
Yeah.
I hate snakes, Jock. I hate them.
I hate them.
Show a little backbone. Yeah, Jock.
I love Jock. Yeah, that's all. I just had to mention that.
We already talked about, the fact that this was one of the most influential movies to me growing up, but the Lego Indiana Jones video game was also a major part of my childhood.
We played the heck out of it. Actually, we still play it. I can't lie.
We still play it every once in a while. Anyway, so Indy escapes the Peruvian jungle. He flies back up to America. It's revealed that he's just a college professor. He's like an ancient history archaeology professor. He's approached by his longtime collaborator and friend Marcus Brody and the U.S. government that they have acquired some information that the Third Reich is trying to dig up the Ark of the Covenant.
Which is just wild.
Yeah. I mean...
I love it.
It's perfectly just wonderfully 80s and... I don't know.
And also like kind of somewhat based.
Fun adventure. I don't know why I'm trying to over-explain this. It's
fairly based though, because Hitler did just love collecting artifacts.
Yeah, all the occult stuff. So anyway, Indy agrees to try and find the Ark before the Third Reich does. He's been told that they're digging in Cairo trying to find where it is, and he thinks that they have made a mistake. So he goes to an old friend of his, Abner, who he supposes has the headpiece of the Staff of Ra, which is one of the items used in locating the Ark. It's a bit of a gizmo, but he flies to Nepal, where he expects Abner to be, and finds out that he is actually dead, and his daughter is still alive, who Indy had some flame with back in the day, and completely busted up, so she's a little pissed at him.
She's got a little bit of resentment.
Basically, she knows where the thing is, but she refuses to give him to him. He leaves the bar that she owns now, and she's approached by this German troop. Headed by Major Todt, who's just a freaky looking little dude and just perfectly unnerving. So he begins his process of German interrogation, which does not have the opportunity to get very far before Indy comes back in. Helps free Marion. Awesome gunfight sequence. They get out of the bar, but not before it burns down. So Marion tells him that she is now his responsibility, and they're going to be partners until they find the Ark. So they fly to Cairo. They start digging up. They start looking for the Ark. Marion is at one point captured, and Indy thinks that she dies in like just one of the best chase sequences in history. He's heartbroken is a little bit of a stretch. Like he drinks 2 glasses of whiskey and finds the monkey that she was carrying around, and he's like, "Oh damn!"
I have a fun fact about the monkey.
Damn, I wonder. So anyway, he eventually finds out that Marion is actually alive. She's being kept prisoner by the Nazis. They go and find the Well of Souls, which is the place where the Ark is hidden. He uses the Staff of Ra and a correctly sized staff piece to find exactly where it is. Finds out that the Germans have been digging in the wrong spot. They go to uncover the Ark. The Ark is pulled back out of the Well of Souls. But not before the Germans find out what he's doing. They capture his friend Salah and give Marion back to him and throw her down the Well of Souls. Now, the Well of Souls is full of a bunch of snakes, Emily's favorite.
And indies.
And indies. I guess
Me and
you
Indiana
can rationalize that.
hate snakes.
I hate snakes, Shock.
I hate them.
So they're now stuck down the Well of Souls. It doesn't take very long until they find a way out of the Well of Souls, which is very
Good
convenient.
for them.
They get out in like 5 minutes flat, and it's just
Well,
really,
I mean, with
really
all
good
those snakes in
pacing.
there, I honestly
Enough
would
time
be,
for you to be like, oh, are they trapped? Oh, they got out.
I'd be
it's great.
equally as determined to get out. I think that I also would find a way.
Yeah, I don't think Indy would have been as determined had it not been full of just ridiculous amounts of asps.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like just your average snakes. We're
Boa constrictors.
cobras. I don't
big
like them.
guys.
They got the what do you call it? Like the neck thing.
The hood.
Is that what it's
The
called?
cobra's hood.
Yeah.
I think so.
I hate them. Sorry.
Okay.
Get out of here, snakes.
Let's talk about some more snakes.
No.
They make it out of the Well of Souls. They find that the Ark is about to be transported via plane. They go to destroy the plane, they're going to use the plane to fly away before they can load the Ark onto it. But the Ark gets loaded onto a truck instead. They destroy the plane. Indy goes on a truck ride, which is just one of the best chase sequences. Like this movie is just full of some of the best of all time. Just fantastic action sequences.
I have so
back to
many
back
like
to
of
back.
the action sequences in my favorite scenes.
They're fantastic. Anyway, they eventually make it all the way to where the Germans are going to uncover or reveal the Ark of the Covenant, which they do, and they find out that the wrath of God is indeed wrathful. It murders anybody that it looks at, or melts their face from all of its glory, should I say. Less than murders, but Indy and Marion are forced to look away from the Ark of the Covenant as it comes out, in which the Ark kind of closes itself, and they eventually put it back in a box and hide it in a museum. Indy and Marion make it out, but they don't really stay together, as is evidenced by the second movie and the different love interest, and then the third movie and the different love interest, and then the fourth movie and Marion's back.
And guess what?
I'm sorry, what the fourth movie doesn't exist.
Shia LaBeouf is their kid all of a sudden?
We're not talking about Mutt. Is that his name?
Yes.
Mutt.
Mutt.
Mutt
M-U-T-T.
Jones. No, he takes Marion's name.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's basically a from memory recap of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that might be a little bit spotty, but who cares?
And we certainly will be going more into deeper detail on some scenes.
Yeah. I adore this one. This is.
Why do you love this movie? Like, talk about.
Why don't I?
Talk about
it
everything.
absolutely ignited my imagination when I was a kid. Like
I
cannot
wanted to
remember
be
anything being
an
as-
archaeologist so bad.
Yeah,
It's still exciting to me. Like every time I go to a museum, like I'm always like, oh, like I
This
think
is
this
just-
like is so formative of my. Like I'm not a huge history person, but I think that this really plays into my admiration of history.
This is my sense of adventure, like
Yes.
bottled up into one thing. It's just an awesome caper, and I like that idea. I like going different places and seeing different things and having exciting things happen and all that kind of stuff. And this was just foundational in all of that. Yeah, I adore this movie. And Steven Spielberg just makes stuff with such care that you can't not be swept away by it. I mean, there's a really good documentary. Sorry, wrong word. Autobiography about Steven Spielberg that just came out, directed by him a couple years ago, called The Fabelmans.
Great
and
movie.
It's really fun to see like some of the influences for Indy remembered through his eyes in The Fabelmans, like all the Boy Scout uniforms.
I was gonna say it's very like young indie.
Yeah, it's very much like cool to see the way that he draws those influences to the way that you can see them. I don't know, like maybe he's just too sentimental at this point. It works for me. Yeah, I really, 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 really love Indiana Jones. I had so many of the Legos when I was a kid. We played the video game. We talked about that already. We're playing through another Indiana Jones video game now.
As we
My
mentioned.
life has gone full circle,
Dude,
people.
and I just have to brag about this game for a second again because it really is so good. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by it, and I'm very enamored
amazing.
by it.
It's really
I can't
amazing.
wait to play it later.
We are going to be playing more of it later. Yeah, so basically, like, this game takes place directly after the events of Raiders, but there are some recreated scenes from Raiders. There's only been one so far. I don't know if there will be more, or if there will be any recurring characters aside from, Brody and the core cast, but it's pretty damn awesome. They recreated, like, the whole opening sequence in this game, and just... Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's hitting every mark for me. I think the performances are awesome. The story's awesome. It feels like genuinely original. And yeah, it's just a fun caper. I mean, Indy goes to Vatican City.
It's great.
What more do you want me to say? It's awesome.
And you're not dealing with Nazis so much as you are with like the Italian fascists.
Yeah, political.
You've got like Il
nightmares that are
Duce's
going
men
on in Vatican City at that time. Yeah, it's so fantastic. But Indiana Jones, just as a property, is just the stuff to me. Scrubbing the last two movies, we do not talk about the last two movies. Those
I never
are
even
a
saw
blight.
the fifth one because I refused to.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Imagery.
I heard so many, like, it's okay, it's fine, it's great, it's got some good things in it, but
Indiana
like,
Jones deserves better than fine.
He deserves like just to have these three movies on two of these three movies on a podium for the rest of his life. Temple of Doom is fine. Okay, I want to talk about some favorite scenes real quick, and I'm just gonna blast through them
Don't blast through them. Go into them.
Okay. The opening sequence is fantastic. The credit scroll over the jungle. Alfred Molina as Sapito, showing Indy through the jungle, and it does this scroll like if you're just looking at it from a fresh perspective, you are just perfectly communicated to, brought up to speed of what this movie is going to be.
It sets the tone really well from the get-go. You're like, oh, this is adventurous, this is fun. It's
people being horrified by ancient things that they don't understand.
I kind of mentioned how much I love the booby traps earlier, and like I feel like Fred from Scooby-Doo talking about it. I love traps.
I love treasure.
Stolen treasure. They're so great, and they're so frequent, and just how fun is a good booby trap, and how
it's awesome watching people figure them out.
Delightful.
Oh, pressure plates, yes, I'm all
more
about
of that,
it.
please.
Yeah, this whole, I mean, from the point that he enters the temple, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 total booby traps that are revealed, and then the whole thing starts collapsing, and then all of them start going off at once, and it's just awesome. It's great.
Like him navigating his way back
through the fifth one of the boulder, but it's just so clever. I was talking with Mom the other day about this, but there's a scene that there's a part in this scene that I had kind of wanted to reserve for internet trivia, but since we're in such a habit of breaking the seal on that early, we'll just go ahead and hit it. Alfred Molina has a shot in this where he's covered in spiders.
Oh, I had this one down
too. They were
too.
all sitting still. And Steven Spielberg was shooting, and he's like, "Why are the spiders sitting still? Like, this doesn't look scary. He just looks like he's covered in spiders." And the spider trainer was like, "There's no female spider on Molina, so none of the spiders are going to move around." They're tarantulas, by the way. Yeah, they're red-banded tarantulas. And the guy was like, "If we put a female on them, they'll start jumping all over the place." And Steve's like, "Well, put a female on them then." And he puts a female on them, and they start just absolutely going wild, which is what you see in the movie. Molina's reaction to that is like totally real. He's like, I don't know what I've got myself into.
I did not sign up for this.
Which is great. And, when you have a scene like that, and then you also have a body double made of you for a scene where you get pierced through the mouth and neck, you're off to a hot start. And then you show up in Boogie Nights like 18 years later. And it's awesome.
And then you become Doc Ock.
And then you become Dr. Octopus. Alfred Molina's the man. Anyway, That's a great part of that scene. But there's just so much good stuff in this scene. It's just such a nice opening sequence. Totally sets the tone for the rest of the movie. And you're just like, okay, I'm with this. I'm on an adventure, and I'm ready to go.
I really, it's not so much the scene, but I do love like the little bit where we're in Nepal at Marion's bar, and Belloc, he grabs the medallion that's been like in the fire, and he burns the hell out of his hand. I love that.
It's a nice little sizzle. Thanks, Steve, for that sizzle. You did good with that sound. Yeah, a fantastic scene. I had that whole like bar fight sequence on there. Actually, I had the whole of them being in Nepal, which is just awesome because it's Marion getting pissed at Indy for walking back in the door after I when I was rewatching it, I was trying to like re-wrap my brain around it. And I'm pretty positive it was like she was like a 16-year-old or something, and he took advantage of her in some capacity and then left.
Oh no,
it's not good. It's really not good. When I was watching that part again, I was like, ooh. And then I saw a piece of trivia earlier where they were talking about how Indy was supposed to be like a bit of a playboy originally when they wrote the script.
That's kind of I mean, he's got a different love interest in every movie.
Yeah. Anyway, that whole sequence in Nepal, from him and Marion talking to General Todd coming in and him trying to like burn her mouth with a poker. I guess it's
Todd, not Belloc.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then it goes into like an awesome gunfight, and then there's fire involved, and it's just such a spectacle. What's the name of the actress that plays Marion? Hold on. I'll answer. Didn't write them down. Sorry.
No, that's
not
okay,
this time.
Okay. Whatever her name is, I'll figure it out here in a second. But her facial expression when he's like, she does such a good job, like showing just primal fear.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
She's got such a good sense of acting. All of her indie screams are so, Indy! They're so good. They're all on point. Karen Allen. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love everything about this sequence in particular, but the movie continuously just keeps getting better. There are some more like downbeat moments just because of everything can't be spectacle action, but it just continues to top itself with how big the action is. 100%.
Next, I have the Cairo chase sequence.
That's exactly what I have next.
Most importantly, I have the would-be fight scene between Indy and the swordsman.
Important stuff.
The swordsman like pulls out this massive, what is it, a scimitar?
Scimitar.
And he's like swinging it around, and he's like doing like all these exhibition bullcrap with it, and he just pulls out his gun and shoots him.
One of the best of all time. One of the best visual gags.
I have a fun fact about it, but
yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yes, but nevertheless, I love that. I love awesome. Marion in the basket.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love the truck exploding.
I rewatching it the other day. I just got it on 4K, and it's been a lovely watch.
Ooh, 4K.
Buy physical media, people. It's dying.
Delicious.
It looks so much better than streaming. It's not even.
It's a vast difference, and that's coming from somebody that like really doesn't notice it a whole lot. But once he has, like, once I watch something on Zach's fantastic TV with the great sound quality, and he's got the lights that match up with.
You think my TV is fantastic?
I do. He's got the lights that match up with what's happening on the screen, and I'll go to somebody else's house and watch something. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm a snob about my TV now.
It's a curse. The way in this sequence that when the visual gag happens, well, I guess just the gag happens where Indy walks out of the building and there's like 1,000 baskets that look the exact same as the one that Marion has. The way that the reveal works in that is so great because it's just the camera is just focused on Indy's face and you see his expression change and you're like, oh shit, what's wrong? And then it like slowly as he starts fighting through the crowd, that's when it reveals that the baskets are all there. And it's just such a perfect like you know exactly what's being communicated to you without even having to see it.
And you see
you expect it by the time
the two guys like carrying the basket.
It's so awesome. Yeah, that's the Cairo chase is just fantastic. Followed by well, the next thing I had was the bruiser fight where they're trying to get onto the plane.
Oh, I have that one too, but I have the truck chase next. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's right after the bruiser fight.
Okay.
But yeah, Indy's fighting a big German dude. That's it.
Massive
big German
dude
gets chopped up by a propeller. Awesome. Absolute, like, I can feel
Nothing
the
like
look on my
seeing some
face
dead Nazis.
when I
It's
was
great.
a kid seeing that for the first time. Be like, oh, that's sick.
Chopped up by the plane propeller.
Damn, we really got out of that one.
Scary stuff as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely scary stories.
Scary stories.
Moving on, the truck chase.
The truck chase
is the next big spectacle sequence.
Get it. You get it.
What is there that is not good enough to say in this? There's motorcycles, there's trucks, there's Indy swinging from a whip, there's Indy being dragged behind a truck.
Is it
awesome.
in this movie or is it in
Last Crusade?
Last Crusade where the truck like is edging closer and closer to the cliff and he's hanging on the side of it?
That is Last Crusade.
And that's the tank
That's
sequence,
the tank
isn't
sequence,
it? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's yes.
Dang,
yeah.
we should have just gone and talked about all three of the OGs because I love Last Crusade a lot.
Yeah, I really have not seen Temple of Doom that many times.
I haven't either. It was one that we weren't shown as much as children, but I love The Last Crusade. Sean Connery in The Last Crusade
Connery
is
absolutely
he is so freaking funny in that role.
The gimmick of Indy's dad being like a massive part in that movie.
Him riding in the sidecar
so
on the motorcycle is just like I think that sums it up. Junior,
like all
we
the
named
entire
the dog
time
Indiana.
You've been seeing like Indy's character over the course of these 3 movies just being the man, just being that guy, and then imagine your dad being there and just saucing everybody up while you're and you're just like, Dad, take it easy. It's fantastic. I absolutely love that.
Good stuff.
The Last Crusade is awesome. I don't know if we'll like have a full Last Crusade episode on this, but we will definitely talk about the Last Crusade at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the truck chase sequence is just the shit. It will get you fired up.
90% of this movie will get you fired up.
It's so fantastic.
Snake Pit.
How does he not lose the hat? Snake Pit, Well of Souls. That's a little bit before, but
Still, I'm not really going chronologically. I'm just kind of throwing out some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah. Talk about like stuff that sticks with you. Just images that you're like, yep, that's with me forever now.
Dude, literally, I think this is where my fear of snakes came from. I think that if a guy that is as badass as Indiana Jones can be afraid of snakes, so can I. I think I can be afraid of snakes and not feel bad about it. I like Marion in this scene, which this is
she is gorgeous in the scene. I'm just going to say she is quite beautiful in this scene.
She's so beautiful, and the dress, and oh my gosh, just everything. And again, just her primal fear and her being like, absolutely not. And Indy, I love that he kind of like breaks here and he doesn't really try to be brave for her. He's just like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And
they reach the point where they're just like, okay, we are both down for the count, and one of us is deathly afraid of the creatures that.
And he has to like solve the puzzle of knocking down the right stuff to get out of there, and it's just great.
That's just... I think that's your Lego Indiana Jones.
Well, no, that's kind of what I'm saying though. Is like the way that these adventure movies works is kind of like there's a lot of puzzle solving to be done.
There's a lot of notes written down.
A lot of puzzle solving. So we're doing I'm fading into Jeff Goldblum again.
We kept doing an indie impression last night. It kept becoming more and more like Jeff Goldblum.
In the game, he Troy Baker, he talks very soft a lot of the time, and kind of like almost mumbling under his breath. This is where
Forrestal cashed in.
And it after a little while, starts to devolve into a sentimental man.
I'll do an indie role in like 10 years.
Maybe we'll make the
Indiana
next
Jones,
Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
where's the? Okay, I just had a brilliant idea. Why have we not made a Lego Indiana Jones movie?
That's a property mess.
I mean,
maybe
they did
not
Batman.
so much anymore. Not so much anymore now that Disney owns it. But
I think that would be delightful.
I think that Troy Baker's gonna get a lot of steam coming off of this performance. In Hollywood anyway, because people in Hollywood are going to be talking about it.
So, like, are you thinking like an animated property?
Probably.
Yeah, because I mean, he's not really an actor.
Yeah.
Has he done anything aside from voice work?
That's a good question. I do not know.
Talk about your next favorite scene, and I'll find out.
Cool. My next favorite scene is the big one, opening the Ark.
Ugh.
This shit
Faces melting
scares
off.
me to this day. The way that they make the decision to like have these wax figures melting rapidly.
Did you know that Troy
upon the
Baker's
opening of the
also in
Ark.
my Marvel Rivals?
Yes, I did. He actually voices Rocket Raccoon.
Loki.
Loki. Okay.
Just had to throw that out there. I know you love Marvel Rivals.
I love the idea of playing Overwatch and not playing Overwatch at the same time. Troy Baker is awesome. Where was I going with this? Oh, wax figures. Yeah, the way that the wax figures are shot and like rapidly melting at the opening and the glory of God opening the Ark. That scared the pants off of me when I first saw this movie. I actually remember through that scene where I was the first time I saw this movie, and it was at the drive-in theater at Cedro Woolley.
Oh my gosh.
Full disclosure, there is no drive-in theater at Cedro Woolley. There was just a downtown brick wall that they were projecting it against, which was the coolest thing ever.
Bro has
And
not
we saw,
done anything with
I
voice
think we
acting.
double featured this and E.T.
That's such a good double feature. I think I remember this.
And I remember mom and dad. I think we left midway through ET or something like that.
I
But
definitely fell asleep. I'm
I
notorious for falling asleep during the second movie at the drive-in.
legendary. I can say the same for myself. However, seeing this movie at the drive-in is the coolest thing ever. I will protect that forever. But I remember seeing this face melting scene the first time at the drive-in, like burying my face in my hands. I was so unbelievably scared of this sequence. And it's
Scary
really good.
stories.
It's really good. It's really supposed to be that horrifying. You know, it's supposed to be the horrifying follies of man tormenting and misunderstanding things that are not meant to be understood.
I guess I could kind of talk about this in themes a little bit, but just you said like the opening of the Ark and like witnessing the glory of God in that moment, and like the fear and that like the wrath of God is so cool, and that is something that I love about Indiana Jones is the way that they kind of keep like not a Christian theme to it. There's no really like Christian values I mean, he has like
Temple of Doom falls away from it. There
Yeah.
are. I mean, India's not exactly like a black or white character.
No,
It is-
there are some moral values to be seen, but mostly I appreciate how like when they deal with artifacts that are pertinent to Christianity, it's always done tastefully. Like
Yeah.
and it always honors
It's honoring
yeah.
the sacred and unknown nature
Yes,
of it.
yes.
I think
and
that's
the like awe of it and greatness.
yeah. It's incredibly smart because it means that it is not it's not among a group of bias for a lot of people. It's immediately accessible for a lot of people, which is a good decision. Okay, favorite quotes. Let's talk about
my
some
goodness.
lines. We've already said most of these.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw a little wrench in there and just say like the exchange between Indy and Sapito after Sapito is
when
on
he's
one
like,
side of the pit
"Adios,
and he's
senor."
holding the whip and he's
Throw
like,
me the whip!
throw me the idol and he throws him the idol and he says adios senor and he leaves and he gets booby trapped and then Indy shows up and sees him later and he says adios Sapito. That's classic.
But he says it in the whitest way possible.
Adios Sapito.
Adios, Sapito.
Adios.
Idios.
Yeah, Jock, start the plane.
Jack!
Start the plane.
That's just my
If I
first name. That
ever for any reason am in a car chase and Emily is in the car sitting there warming the engine up, that will be what I say when I'm running towards her.
Good to know. Cool. I'm glad to know that is like the key words that
If
It's
the
time
U.S.
to go.
government is listening, that does not mean that I am planning anything.
I'm turning
fully
sport
disclosing
mode
that right now.
on in the Maverick. We're going.
Jock, start the plane. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I love like this moment between Marion and Indy where like you see like the charm that she fell for. It's so great. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. He's so suave. Oh my gosh.
is an
Indiana
ad-lib.
Jones he is a playboy and I would fall for it.
It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. Is an ad lib.
It is?
It's really great.
Harrison Ford,
That
the
ain't
man
Indiana
that you
Jones.
are.
That's Harrison Ford. What a stud.
One
He's
and
man.
the same in my mind, honestly. Like just a great guy. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes?
This is me anytime I see a snake.
This is it.
This is
where
it.
Forrestal cashed in.
Yes.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes? And I just don't like them, and he doesn't either. And
great.
relatable content.
I like
Thank you,
snakes. I
Indy.
think snakes are cool. Spiders? Nah. Snakes.
Zach wants to get a snake, and I would move out of the house.
I told you 2 years ago that I wanted to get a snake.
You
and
told
said
me
that-
when we were in Washington 2 weekends ago that you wanted to get a snake.
No, I told the story of me telling people 2 years ago that you didn't want me to
I
get
said I
yours.
wanted a cat. You said you wanted a snake.
Yeah, we're not getting a cat. I'm sorry.
I want a cat.
This sneezing's too deeply.
What about a hypoallergenic one?
My whole body can't be allergic as soon as I come home.
Hypoallergenic.
Different time for this conversation.
No, let's hash it out right here,
Okay,
right now.
okay. No, I don't want a cat.
Next cut. Next quote. Next cat.
You can't do this to me. I'm American. As they're kidnapping Marion.
That is just so wild. I forgot about that.
It's just a great one. Just,
I'm making this up as I go. Is another one of my
yeah.
favorites.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. It's right before the truck chase.
Chuck Chase. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of them that I got.
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, like 90% of this movie is just so quotable.
What
I had
do you
to
want
kind
from
of
me?
boil it down to like
if I haven't said an Indiana Jones quote to you yet, you either weren't listening or I wasn't talking about it.
honestly, this is one of those movies that I rewatch and then I'm like, oh, I say that all the time.
Yep,
And
yep.
I didn't even remember that this is what that's from.
Yeah,
That's
much in the
just
same vein as like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or Christmas Vacation or
Very
something
much
like that.
so.
I'm
Like,
just oh, yep. They want you to say the blessing.
Ace Ventura. That's another one that I quote all the time. That I
Everyone
don't
loves
think
a
about.
slinky. Okay, the couple of internet trivias that we got.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do the one that we cut off earlier because I did not cut off all of them, but I did cut off that one.
What did we start doing?
It was the guy doing the sword twirl.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, fun fact. 90% of the cast got sick during this. Like, Steven Spielberg
Like,
was one of the only guys
Food
that
poisoning, vomiting,
like,
diarrhea, like
bad,
the whole nine.
gross, dying
While they
sick
were shooting in
in
Egypt.
Cairo. Well, yeah, in the Cairo scene. I don't know if they were actually shooting in Cairo.
Oh, you know,
but
I
but-
think they might not have been.
nevertheless, they're all not feeling great, Harrison Ford included, and they go to shoot the scene, the sword fighting scene where he pulls out the gun and shoots the guy. And it was scripted to be like this big grand fight sequence.
He was gonna wrestle the sword out of his hand with the whip, and
Like there was supposed to be all this choreography and everything, and Harrison Ford was just genuinely feeling like shit. And he just was like, I'm just gonna take out the gun and shoot the guy. And he did. And they were like, keep it. We love it.
He walked up to Steven Spielberg and was like, "What if I just shot the bastard?" And Steve was like, "Cool, roll." It was awesome.
I love that.
And the out of control airplane in the bruiser sequence actually
Oh,
ran
yes.
over Harrison Ford's knee, and it tore a ligament in his left leg. The rubber was soft enough that it didn't crush his bones,
Because of the heat.
but he
That's wild.
but he was just like, throw some ice on it and I'm good to go. And so he
What a
continued
man.
to shoot the rest of the sequence
What a
with just
man.
an iced up knee. Probably needed some deep surgery to take care of that one afterwards. Tearing a ligament is not fun.
In case you guys haven't picked up on this for my fun facts, I love would-be casting. I think that I just love reimagining movies with different people. One big recast for this, actually he was originally cast as Indy, Tom Selleck.
Youch.
Tom Selleck was going to be Indiana Jones, and then he decided he wanted to be Magnum PI.
Good choice.
Yeah,
God
God
we
bless.
are living in the right
Can you
universe.
imagine? And also, I don't know if it was before or after they decided to go with Tom Selleck, but initially they wanted like an undiscovered actor. Like they wanted to just completely throw some new guy into this role and
Austin
be like,
Butler.
we're gonna no, please.
I'm Austin.
They wanted to like make a movie star, which I mean, they didn't make Harrison Ford a movie star. He is one, and he'd already been in Star Wars.
Yeah,
at this
he was
point.
already in Star Wars, but he didn't have like a leading
Right.
role.
This was like his big, like, this was his
This
movie.
was his breakout.
And
This was his stardom certified.
the other role that was originally cast differently, this is so funny to me, and I can't remember what project he ended up going to instead. But Sala was going to be Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm. I knew that.
Danny DeVito? Can you imagine?
Yeah, see, the problem is, the Well of Souls is over there. You guys are digging over here.
I just can't imagine it.
That would be like a goated movie.
Tom Selleck and Danny DeVito in Indiana Jones. I kind of want to visit the alternate universe in which that is a reality.
Oh my God, Danny.
Starring Tom Selleck's mustache. How great would that be?
Yeah, I would like to see that. There's probably a porno out there that looks exactly like that.
All right, I have one more.
Okay,
However,
I've got two.
Shoot.
Actually, no, never mind. I've got one. All right, freeze framing on the Well of Souls.
Oh, yes.
If you look closely in one particular shot, you can see R2D2 and C3PO carved into the wall. It's right on the wall behind Indy when they first approach the Ark. So if you do want to check it out for yourself, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool little detail. The fellas were just cooking up some fun little Easter eggs.
I love that. How fun. There's some point in this movie, we briefly mentioned the monkey that Marion befriends, who kind of turns out to be a betrayer. He's a backstabber.
Spy?
He works for the Nazis, and he does the Nazi salute at some point. And it took 50 takes to get that, and Spielberg was just dead set on having it. And so, damn it.
No, I want you to look there, monkey. Yeah,
extend your arm like this.
Steven Spielberg sees like one take in the audition of the kid that plays Elliot in E.T. And he's like, "All right, kid, you got the job." And then he sees the monkey in Indiana Jones, and he's like, I'm gonna throw this monkey out the window. I like that image.
He was just having a hard time with the critters on this movie, I guess. The monkey didn't do what he wanted. The tarantulas didn't do what he wanted.
All right, a quick note on the soundtrack, and then we'll wrap this up.
Oh my goodness!
What is there that you could possibly say about the soundtrack that hasn't been said already? John Williams is
Indian
the
Marion's
man.
leitmotif is my favorite. So romantic, delicious.
It's wonderful. The sweeping score that like harkens back to the epics of the black and white era of Hollywood, and
this is just such
amazing.
A classic.
It's amazing.
This is just certified classic.
It just toes to hairs, like an absolute classic.
Toes to hairs.
Don't even know what I was going for with
Butt
that.
to chin.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. See, the Well of Souls is over there. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Okay. What's your rating? 1 out of 10.
This one is a real personal rating. I personally do not think this movie is a complete 10 out of 10, but for me, Zachary James Davis, this movie is a fat 10 out of 10.
This is like
don't let me be your standard.
It's like an 8.5 for me. Like it is up there, but there are like issues with it, obviously.
I have a good time every time I watch this movie.
But nevertheless, yes, like you said, always a great time, always a total enjoyable showing. What movie would you watch after this movie? What would you double feature this?
Last Crusade. I would have to double feature. If you watch Indiana Jones, you either watch another Indiana Jones movie or go play Uncharted 4.
I was literally I had that exact thought of wanting to say I wish I could say double feature this with the Uncharted movie, but the Uncharted movie sucks, so just go play the game.
Just play it. Legit, you do not have to play Uncharted 1, 2, or 3. Just do a quick recap. Here's the deal. Nathan Drake is a treasure hunter, and he marries this girl from the first game. There you go. That's all you need to know about Uncharted 4. Go play that game. That's my double feature with this.
Obviously Last Crusade, like you said. I kind of think that Star Wars, the first Star Wars, is
that's a good choice.
a fun.
It's a good pick.
Sticking with Harrison Ford, sticking with not quite the 80s, but almost. And then
never tell me where Forrestal cashed in.
Then I also The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and what's her name that everybody's in love with?
That lady that's in The Mummy.
That lady that's in The Mummy. God bless. I'm gonna get a lot of heat for not knowing who that is.
Tell me about it, bro. We're the most educated film nerds in the world. What was I going to follow that?
Keep
Oh,
IMDb in my
Sahara.
back.
Oh,
That is another fun.
Not genuinely like not a great movie, but
a good treasure hunting movie.
A very fun treasure hunting movie.
Like National Treasure, even. Like I just think just like treasure hunting movies in general.
Those movies
are
would not
so
exist if it was
great.
not for Indiana Jones.
100%. This inspired so much, but just good fun desert treasure hunting.
When did we get American Psycho on Blu-ray?
I bought it when we went to Barnes & Noble and we got the Criterion Collections.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I just realized I haven't watched that Blu-ray. Any old who. I've got some Blu-rays to watch. Entertaining, enlightening, or both. This is entertaining.
You're
not going to be like, oh, you know what? I have a more holistic understanding of the world because of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You will be like, hell yeah, bro. Another beer, please.
Another beer, another indie movie.
Yeah, I'm all about it. But that's about it from us this evening. So this weekend, there's not a whole lot going on.
I'm gonna try to see Flo, but gosh, I just hate driving in Knoxville.
I do want to go see Flo. We'll be okay. I think the Regal West downtown. We'll definitely check out Flo.
Don't say definitely. We say that. We say we're gonna see a lot of movies.
Well, here's the deal. I don't have a whole lot of new stuff to go see this weekend. I saw a bunch of new stuff last weekend, and it was very middling. This weekend looks like it's gonna be about the same with Mufasa and Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I think I'm gonna go see War of the Rohirrim though.
Okay.
Maybe Flo. I don't know.
I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on War of the Rohirrim.
I feel like I need to see it. Yeah. I love Brian Cox.
I retained very, very little of it.
I'm trying not to have low expectations for it, but I also don't want to have.
Don't let me discourage you. I'm sorry.
But I've also heard like every Lord of the Rings fan that I know that's seen it has rated it like a 2.5.
Yeah, it's incredibly
cool. Mid.
It's incredibly middling.
But you know what? It's fine. I'm excited. Is the animation good at least? Oh no.
It's
maybe I'll just
watchable.
go see Flo. Maybe I'll just
watch Flo. Yeah, I will go see Flo at this point. I definitely want to check it out. Especially, I mean, Interstellar IMAX, like with the limited release, that was the biggest thing that I wanted to do last weekend. I'm so glad I did. But I
haven't been able to get in the movie theater as much as I like to.
We'll talk about Kneecap, which is something we're probably gonna watch tonight. I already watched it once this week. It is one of the best
Indiana
watches
Jones.
that I've had this year.
Who are you kidding?
That's a good point. Oh damn, I forgot I just saved on Indy. Yep, we'll be doing that instead. We'll talk about Kneecap. Kneecap is awesome. I just watched it this weekend, and it is one of the best things I've watched this year. We'll talk about The End, which is what Megan and I ended up seeing after the podcast the other day. Absolutely bizarre movie that I cannot wait to talk about in some capacity. And, Flo, maybe. Mufasa, Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
We will be going to see Nosferatu on Christmas Eve.
We will.
Obviously,
I am very much excited for that.
Will come out.
I've allocated 3 tickets for the premiere of Nosferatu on
3
Christmas Eve. Megan might be joining us.
Oh, lovely. I'm probably going to get one for my Maddie girl.
Yeah, hey, get it in there. I'll send you the link. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will be back on Monday with another weekend roundup. And
thank you for tuning in.
Then it'll be Christmas, and then next week's weekly highlight is going to be The Holdovers, which is...
We've already decided.
One I'm very excited to talk about. This is Alexander Payne's movie from last year. I talked about it a little bit on the Top 10 Winter Weather Movies podcast, and I've already got some notes for it. I'm very, very excited for this one. So,
let us know if you guys want to see more top 10 lists. I
thought it was really fun putting that together. I'm more than happy to
I really enjoyed listening to that podcast. I was like, we should do this more often.
I think it works with the dynamic of the back and forth, and especially for the roundup for filling out the podcast in general. I think it totally works. So if you guys like it, let us know.
If you liked it, if you want to see like top 10 80s movies, top 10, just whatever.
Top 10 Children of the Corn movies.
Top 10 Scream.
There are 4 of them.
Movies. There's 6 of them.
That's all I got. I'm losing steam rapidly. So
I'm gaining steam for Indiana Jones, but not in the capacity that we're Indiana Jonesing here.
I'm sorry, people.
I have to save the
world.
I gotta go to the Vatican, boys. Good night.
Good night, everybody.